don't know what that means.
The rocket there, that SpaceX rocket that went up and came back to Earth. Haven't been watching the news lately. Okay.
I don't have time to watch news. Thank you.
All right, we're there, ready. All right, I'd like to call the Sangerville Selectmen's meeting, February 23rd meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Okay, I'd like to record that all three selectmen are present, there are no employees present, and we have a written record of the residents present. Moving on to item 2, approval of the minutes. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the February 7, 2017 minutes. Would anybody like to second me?
Second.
And let's take a vote. 3-0. I'd also like to make a motion that we approve the February 10th, 2017 minutes. Do I have a second? Dale? Let's take a vote. All right, moving briskly along. We've different way to do things. We're going to do the treasurer's warrants up first. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve payroll warrants 24, 21, 24, and 26. Do I have a second?
Second.
Let's take a vote. It's 3-0. I'd like to make a motion we pay the accounts payable warrant, or approve the accounts payable warrants 20, 22, 23, and 25. Do I have a second?
Second.
Bill?
Can I have those payroll warrants again?
Yeah.
You kind of fast reading there, ma'am. No, I just need the numbers. 20.
20, 22, 23, and 25.
Thank you.
All right. We're into open session. Now we have a 2-minute limit instead of a 5-minute limit. So if you have anything to say, this is your opportunity. Diana.
Well, I've got actually 4 quick things, but one might not be so quick. We asked to be put on the agenda earlier this month for the Abbey Fowler School. The members would like to get an update on just where the progress is on that. And Matt said we could do it under here.
Okay.
The other thing is the village cemetery. The snowmobiles are going really close to the graves. I've taken some photos right next to the graves. I don't know, there's a state law that says snowmobiles aren't allowed there, but I don't know what we can do, whether we post it or not. But, town dinner, is a historical society going to be allowed to serve dinner at the town meeting like we always have?
I wouldn't see a reason why not.
By all means, please.
And
I haven't missed a meal.
And another quickie is the Economic Development Committee is we've organized a kind of an economic development committee, and the former town manager was real supportive of us, and we hope the board continues with that. We have a really good committee. We're trying to work to bring some business to town. And that's it, other than the Abbey Fowler School.
Would you like to address the Abbey Fowler right now?
Yep. Okay, and when I do address this will take care of item 12F, 12G, and 12E.
Okay.
I know. Okay, so on the Abbey Fowler School, I met with Chris Winstead already. The project is complete, the remediation is done, it's signed off, we received all the different letters that we needed, as well as the certification of where the contaminated materials were dumped, which allowed us to go ahead. PCEDC is writing RJ, that did the remediation work, a check for $52,000 directly for the work. I've submitted, so that takes care of item G, the PCEDC Brownfield. They're cutting that check. DECD drawdown, I have submitted. I went ahead, I had to gather up invoices and stuff, but there's a $15,000 and then $27,000, so the town will be getting a check for $42,000, and out of that we need to pay that to CES for civil engineering, and the other portion to RJ, which is $15,000. Other than that, once I get those bills paid and change and get everything caught up, then we can move forward about, I know that the Historical Society has requested to remove their name from the project, and we'll have to transfer that back. But first, I need to close out these grants. That will be, once I do the checks, I have to do a closeout, then I can transfer. I'm thinking probably 30 days to get this executed. Might take me a little longer, but again, I've got town meeting coming up, so very important that I know that this gets taken care of for you. So it is in the works. Good?
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good. About the Economic Development Committee, I mean, I'm sure the board's delighted for you guys to continue your work.
I would be delighted to have that, just probably after the next 30 days.
Okay.
Right now.
We meet the fourth Monday of every month,
Mhm.
and the budget committee meets next, so they'll be in the library. I guess they're gonna be using the library.
When is this?
It's next Monday.
Oh, I have a budget committee
I know.
meeting. Oh, okay. Well, the next month. Once I get through town meeting, I promise I would love to be that. I served as president of PCEDC and was involved for several years with economic development for the county. Plan to be involved again, and so I look forward to that. I think there's a lot of great opportunity in Sangerville. Great location, and we've got some great assets here, so very fortunate.
Okay, so for the village cemetery snowmobile issue, will the town manager look into that?
Yeah, I'm actually just going to go ahead and contact the snowmobile club.
I say, do we
and the
know if
wardens.
that's an actual trail, or is that just residents?
No,
It's
it's
just
not a
residents.
trail.
No,
It never has been. I mean, it's small kids.
Just
right down
locals.
there, and-
You need a
I'm
warrant.
going to call the wardens.
Yeah.
I will
Or the
contact
sheriff.
the wardens
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Boy, a game camera would be helpful.
I
Yeah.
don't
We don't know
know.
where they go. I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty easy. They do leave a track, don't they?
All right, so anybody else with anything for open forum? Yeah, George?
Well, I just was handed that plow sheet there. Just- It would be nice if you had something to compare that to. The town's been plowing
Do you
4
like
miles in
Richard?
town in the parking lots, and what does it cost to do that per year?
Do you prefer Richard?
I mean, if you had something to compare it to,
Matthew,
we had some
and
good
then
hard
Matthew,
numbers, that
that
should
would
be
Chip.
easier to swallow. But that's all I have to say. I mean,
Okay.
I wasn't gonna talk on anything, but
Okay.
it would be easy, you know, if
What is
you
this?
know what it costs you to do your 4 miles in your parking
What did we
lots,
spend on in-town
how does that
plowing?
compare to 15 more miles?
What did we
That's
spend
all.
on in-town plowing?
Oh, I don't have that figure right.
But no, I know you wouldn't. Yeah,
So,
that was a request.
Anybody else? Okay, moving on.
who is that?
Committee reports, budget committee, do you have anything about the budget committee?
He's on your budget.
it's here.
Do I need to go print more agendas?
Thank you, sure. I don't have your own.
Are we on 5?
Yeah, we're on 5. You have anything to say about the budget committee?
Budget committee will be meeting Monday, February 27th. I talked with Rick today, and hopefully that will be the last meeting, if we can get that wrapped up, because we're losing time for town meeting. So,
Absolutely.
and so we're going to try to do that Monday night. So,
Okay. All right, so moving on to item 6, unfinished business.
Melissa, you have a hand.
Yeah.
Question, at the budget committee, will we be looking into monies going into the reserve accounts? Will that be part of our,
Yes.
Yes.
okay, so I want to know.
All right, anything else? All right, now moving on to item 6, unfinished business A, IPP costs.
Okay, the IPP cost, that is the illness prevention program through Maine Municipal. The town's 80% share for that for 5 employees is $1,900. That's what I would use for a budget number. It's $1,884, and I've calculated it, so it could be off a few bucks, but not a lot. But the $1,500 that you motioned on the 10th was not sufficient, so it would require another $400, and I am ready at this time to go ahead and get that for everyone, but I just need to have the increase budget approved by the board and direction at this time, because the last motion won't work. So I'd need $400 extra. So
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we approve that at $1,900 for the IPP coverage for the staff. Do I have a second?
Second.
And, any further discussion? Let's take a vote. 3-0. Moving on
And
to,
I did have one other thing to go with that because I had some questions on that to find out where the problem happened with the IPP.
yeah,
The problem happened that was given to Ken when he first started, and it was not executed. No money was ever taken out of anyone's checks. No paperwork was ever provided to the employees. So just looks like it was something that fell off
yeah,
the list. And so at this point, I just wanted to have that answer for everyone as well.
okay.
But it will be put in the next, by the next Friday, it will be done.
For those who elect to participate.
For those, yes.
Okay, let's move on to the mowing contract. This is for the roadside mowing. All right. So the numbers for the roadside mowing.
That's all your bids.
All right.
That's plowing and roadside.
All right.
Okay, this is completed.
Let's do that tonight.
Oh,
All right, so for the mowing contracts we had, we already awarded this, did we award the summer mowing to Farm and Gray for the, oh, we didn't do any of them? Okay,
Well, we did with
Cemetery.
PJ for the
for the
cemetery.
cemeteries, okay.
We didn't, because Jimmy
So,
wanted to be a part of the roadside, remember?
Yeah.
I mean,
the cemetery.
the rec field, sorry.
Yeah, well, after he saw the prices, he's agreeable.
I figured he would be.
So, okay, Orm & Gray put in a bid of $1,600 for the 2017 season for 22 weeks. And the other bid we had was for Far and Beyond Lawn Care for $4,560. So would you gentlemen like to make a motion?
This is for rec field mowing.
This is for rec field mowing.
Second.
No, one of you make the motion.
I'll make a motion to accept Orman's
Okay,
bid.
Second.
all right.
so there's two separate mowing contracts?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Well, there's
that's-
actually
that's
three, so-
yeah.
There's actually three. So the first one was rec.
No, the first one was PJ's that we've already approved.
We've already approved PJ for the
Cemeteries.
cemeteries.
PJ.
Yeah.
When was that approved?
At the last meeting, it should have been in the
Not
minutes.
the 10th, so that was the prior meeting on May 7th.
Yeah.
I wasn't here for that, so that's why.
Yeah.
So this one's for rec mowing.
Yeah, we awarded it to PJ.
Rec mowing's awarded to PJ.
No, rec mowing is Orman Gray.
Orman Gray.
ORMANGRAY for
Thank you.
1 year for $1,600. Motion by Dale, seconded by Mike. Let's take a vote. That's 3-0. It is a bargain. It's a true bargain. It's a bargain. We like those.
I pay that to have my house mowed here.
I spend that in diesel, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Okay. So, we'll pass that down to him. That's PJ's from last time, and it's in the minutes of the last meeting.
That's the-
And this is the winning bid for the rec field mowing.
That's
Yeah, I only want the winning bids.
Right.
Yep, that's,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
That's all you got.
cemetery and then you rec field.
2,
So-
23,
All right.
17.
The next one, now we have roadside mowing we need to do. Make sure I don't miss it. All right. So we have 3 bids for roadside mowing. Lambert's Diesel and Welding. He, for 2017, $1,760.
What was that again? The amount?
$1,760.
Yep.
Then we have Orman Gray for $1,850 for 2017, and Far and Beyond for $1,975.90. Would you gentlemen like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to accept Orman's bid, even though it's roughly, what, $90 more. I thought last year he went out a lot further than what we've had in the past on mowing, and I just as soon have him do it again.
You have a second?
Second.
Okay. Okay, so the bid is awarded to Orman Gray.
That's
Take a
all in
vote.
favor?
That's 3-0. Nice.
But I'd also recommend that Lambert bid goes to the road committee because he also has a number in there about using that hammer chipper, and maybe we could use him to use some of that at an additional cost.
So,
Where's the bid for the,
just not possible contracting of hammer, you called it hammer chipper?
I think that's what he called it, I'm not positive. It was an hourly rate, I do remember that.
Alright,
Yeah, it's like
so-
65.
Yeah.
Alright, moving along, judging this Alright,
100? Okay, so this is,
so C became roadside mowing. So D is gonna be plow contract, and then E will be MRC. So D becomes plow contract,
I get it.
and E then becomes MRC contract. Okay, so we have the bids from, 3 bids for plowing. This is for okay, right out is for East and South Sangerville. Price per mile is $3,861.30 for 2017. Then we have Tim Knowlton. Now the plow contract for Tim Knowlton doesn't specifically, yep it does, okay, this is for South and East too. For 2017-2018 season, $3,693 per mile. And the final one was for C&W Newt. East Sangerville was, for both of them, was $3,200 per mile. Would you like to make a motion? Or would we like to discuss it a little bit?
I think we can discuss it a little bit. The sheet that's coming around, these are the numbers that was originally presented to the budget committee.
No, they weren't.
They're close.
They're close.
Okay. I can tell you that 100 hours for overtime, I don't see how we can take on that plow route on 100 hours of overtime because we're going to be close to paying that this year for in town, right now. So that's my number one thing with why I don't think that's agreeable. The other thing, I did talk to the guy that used to run our truck when he did plow that route. He was saying it was about 100 gallons of storm to run that truck. So we have 800 gallons down here for the season. So I don't think that's a realistic number as well.
How many storms do we have?
What's that?
How many storms do we average per season?
I think we average more than 8, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, without running numbers, this is where I'm going. And there's still the whole question about the truck. It was brought up in the road committee about the condition of the truck. Are the trucks 100% reliable enough to take on that added plow route? The road committee was actually had mixed emotions, but we never really come to a agreement of one way or another. The other part of it is if we went with this, we don't have a sub truck, and that really makes me nervous. So my own personal feeling is I would like to award the contract the way it is for one more year. Let our town manager do the research on the equipment. We can look at the labor, what we spent this year at the end of the year, and have real numbers to talk about it after town meeting.
Actually, something George said kind of resonated with me. These numbers, they may be close, They may not be close, we don't really know. Like you said, we don't know how many storms we're gonna have. But we know that C&W has committed to do the 5 miles or 4.7, whatever it is, for X amount of dollars. And we will know what we spent on that. So we will be able to do a real comparison. We won't be comparing hypothetical with something else. It'll be interesting to see at the end of this year what we spend on our 5 miles. Chris will do it for 25 grand. We'll see if they're close.
Mike,
Are you telling me you're going to award the in-town roads to Newton?
No, what I said it would be interesting at the end of the year to compare the two, see how they look.
Okay.
Because we'd have real numbers with an actual quote. These are estimates.
so I'm kind of
So
uncertain. So why did C&W put the in-town on this plow bid?
don't know.
They put sanding on there too.
Yeah, well, we asked for, we put that you could do the sanding too. So I mean, why did that end up on this as part of the discussion? When that wasn't even in the original
Although,
invitation to bid?
Probably he was hoping to get a crack at that business.
Yeah. That would be a question for him.
But here,
Go ahead.
you was put out a request for specific bids, which did not include the in-town, so that is totally extraneous. You couldn't approve it, you couldn't accept it if you wanted to.
Right.
Correct.
Very correct.
But, you know, I'm uncomfortable with this for the simple reason that, you know, if you were to award a plow bid for the in-town streets, you would pretty much in effect have done away with public works at that point, wouldn't you? I mean, what would be the point of having them if you did
Right.
that? So, where did that ever come into the conversation?
I don't think it has.
It has, because you just said, we'll look at that at the end of the year.
No, I was trying to do a cost analysis.
No, that's not a cost now. You have put a new debate on the table.
That wasn't my intention.
Well,
These numbers I felt were hypothetical. We could do a direct comparison
How
and
can
we'll
they
know
be
how close they are.
hypothetical when they came directly from Trios? They came directly
Well,
from...
we haven't plowed these roads.
The numbers on that is the working out of what the cost of an employee would be.
Right. But we don't even know if the mileage is right. We don't know how many storms.
What do you mean you don't know the mileage is right? This is the mileage we put out on the plow roads.
No, we just discussed the $800 worth of fuel.
gas miles, fuel.
Yeah.
Fuel.
Well, okay.
There are variables.
But if, and just to point this out, just for this year, since we're hypothetically talking here, let's take another second of hypothetical talking. $51,000 for East Sangerville, as opposed to $19,000 for the town to do it. Now, that leaves a lot of room for fuel and a lot of room for maintenance. And I do know for a fact that Haley will rent us a truck anytime we need one because they've rented us trucks in the past. So, you know, it needs to be seriously thought about. That's all. So who made the motion and what is the motion?
I haven't made a motion.
Who-
We were talking about
So do you have a,
it. Pete,
yeah, go ahead, Pete.
Just to let you know, that 800 gallons, that was what was used in 2011 when we did plow that East Sangerville road.
Okay.
So you can get that hypothetical out of it, and that's what we used for plowing that year.
So I just want to make sure before we roll down the road to let's get rid of public work. There's been
I have not once said I want to get rid
All
of
right.
Public Works, and that's not my agenda. It's not part of the conversation.
That's what I wanted to hear you say. You made me happy.
I have
Now
said
we
it
can roll
over.
on.
I've said it numerous times. I don't think this town is in any way, shape, or form to eliminate Public Works. Do I think we need to seriously look at the equipment that we have, what we are capable of doing, and what we are spending, and what is the most cost-effective way for our town to do what we need to do? Yes, I definitely think that's what we need to do.
That's what I can go along with.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's the direction I want to go. I'm not saying I want to eliminate anything. I really don't like these numbers. I don't buy 100 hours of overtime to plow that route. The hours we're going to have over 100 hours right now in town with 2 guys. So I don't comprehend how you can take on 15 miles and only get 100 hours. And also, that's 100 hours based, I'm assuming, for the year. So Pete gets some overtime, not a lot, but you get some in the summertime. So that's part of this number too. So I just want real numbers so
You
we
could
can
add
really...
another 100 hours onto it and it still come out way ahead. You could add another 1,000 gallons of fuel and come out way ahead. Add how many numbers you want.
Dale, those overtime hours are not just plowing roads. That's what that route would consist of, be plowing roads. That 100 hours is part of taking care of these sidewalks and parking lots and that type of stuff. That's extra on top of a plow route.
I understand, but we have 2 people right now and we're paying that overtime to produce that, to get those services done.
Yep, and if you had one person, you're gonna have even more overtime, so.
So, okay, let us, do you want, what is it, either of you now?
person up there had the hand up for a long time.
Yes,
So,
sir.
if you look at those bids from Warren and Chris, they were 2 different proposals. They weren't 2 bids. There was the hard ones that you're doing now, and then that other one was kind of get you thinking about stuff. That's all that was.
Okay. It got me
So-
nervous, is what it got
Well,
me.
but it will get you working, that's what it will do.
Now, the other question I have about it is the 10-to-1 salt ratio. That makes me very uncomfortable. Is that considered part of, is that a
I
contingency
can't
too?
speak for him on that, I don't.
We can have the town manager find out. We don't have to lock in.
No.
If we have a direction of where we're gonna go, if we say we're gonna, we don't have to lock into this contract tonight, number one.
Right.
I can tell you my consensus is gonna be to take the contract. Because I don't think we're ready, I don't think he's got the time to do what he needs to do with everything else involved to not go one more year of a contract plow. I don't think it's gonna hurt us.
Is the 10-1 ratio stipulated in that deal?
I honestly,
Because when you read the contract, it says plow bid, town supplies sand and salt as a 10-1 blend, and everything comes after that. And then, but then there's ice removal with greater at our cost as long as the sand is to spec, which means maybe there's some wiggle. I don't know what that means.
That's why I don't know with
It's
that
ambiguous,
part.
and I would like that because,
Have we accepted the sand yet?
no,
we haven't done the same.
we haven't done the sand, you haven't done the salt yet.
So we haven't put that out to bid.
$13,000 is what we spent on sand this past year, under detail. And so if you put it up to the 110 mix, it's, I think it works out, I'm really sketchy on this, tons and loads and stuff. But I think it doubles the cost of the salt. So that takes it up to $26,000, $28,000 for the salt with the 10-1
How many
mix.
ton are you looking for salt?
For the,
520, was it 520? 280, 280, 280 tons.
He also bid sand and salt.
yeah, but the issue is not the sand and salt, it's the heat of the mix. It's the heat of the mix.
Right.
Because, why? Why does the heat of the mix matter?
Well, he was gonna commit to grading if we needed it.
No, but what's the other issue with the, do you know?
Dirt roads.
Dirt roads. What about the dirt roads?
Well, if it's too hot, they get muddy.
Right. And what happens when they plow on a muddy road? They plow the gravel off the top of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you're looking in a couple of years of having doing massive re-graveling on the roads. So it's better to err on the side of caution. And that I got directly from Bob Davis, who used to be a supervisor from DOT. So, and I don't care if you like Bob Davis or you don't.
It's
I
not a
do.
matter of Bob, but Bob is a supervisor of the department that never plowed a dirt road the whole time he was employed.
But they-
So he doesn't have any dirt road experience, is my only thing about him, dirt roads.
But the state writes the specs. So,
I had a lot of dirt roads
yeah.
where I just came from. Oh, and I had a few in Brownville. And we actually plowed. We'd only do intersections, and then we'd go back with our ton truck sander or one of the 6-wheeler, and go sand the dirt roads with just straight sand. And we had 2 piles. We did that in Jackman as well. But we only sanded at the end of the storm, unless if it was a snowstorm, and then if it was an ice storm, then we sanded in between. But it might be something to think about that. We only sanded once on those dirt roads, and it saved a lot of money. And the roads actually stayed better than
Yeah, because you want them to freeze up hard, I know.
Oh, it was nice. It was like ice road trucking. You could drive on it.
That's Brownville.
It was,
It's a-
no, it was smoother than driving on the main roads here. No humps in it, no heaves.
Sand salt was there this year.
It wasn't 1 to 10, it was what?
It's supposed to have been 15, wasn't it?
Yeah, right around 15.
I don't know if we got there.
Do you know how much the town got the bid for with all the different, who'd you go with, Harco?
Harcross.
Do you know how much it was
Pete? What?
per ton? How much per
What'd you pay
ton?
per ton?
It was either 63 or 68 dollars.
Yeah, I know I did 68 in Jackman, so we'll use that. My phone's on again.
And it's probably 63.
It's like 2,300 a little.
Yeah, right.
Don't know.
And we've got 20,000
Yeah, we
budgeted for
can get a real
my,
autistic you and I with
Salt.
in the budget for the salt, right?
Yeah.
So 63, basically you get 31 ton in each load, 1953, so 20, that's 10 loads.
That's a lot of salt.
That's 300 plus.
That's not.
So we have enough money in the current budget to provide a very heavy mix.
We can, we can, if you would like to table this for tonight,
Yeah,
to get clarification from Chris and as far as that goes, is that the stipulation is 10 to 1 is only if they have to put the grader out next year, they pay for it? Or is it the stipulation of the contract?
Well, we didn't get a bill on the grade, as I understand, talking to Doreen late this afternoon.
I haven't,
No. So I know that when we grade the dirt roads, and I know in Sangerville that there's almost an equal amount of dirt roads to paved roads, that it runs, what, $2,800 for a grade, Pete?
Yes.
So you can grade a lot before you spend that kind of money on salt, is my only point on that one.
Well, and this year was the first time we've ever had to do that, so
First time we've ever had to do it, absolutely, first time.
you got another one.
That's not
Oh,
true.
tell me.
There's a couple of things you got to take into consideration. If you contract it out, regardless of the winter, or what happens, equipment breaks down, they've got to pay for it. We have had winters that we've paid over $20,000 in repairs on equipment. We didn't have backup equipment. And that's a big item. Back when this started, I used to be contract plower for the town. I plowed 2 years as a driver. Back then, Haley Construction had all kinds of plows and stuff. And he advised the town to buy their own plow. And we had construction and woods guys qualified to run the plows that would do it in the wintertime, which worked out great. And if anything happened, one of these plows broke down, Haley was right there with equipment to help us out. We don't have that no more. We don't have the experience out there. Peter was given 1 year, a month and a half, to find a driver for the 8,000 before they put the East Sangerville out to bid. He couldn't find anybody, so they had to put it out to contract. Things haven't changed since, and our equipment is
I'll dispute you
not
on that one,
reliable.
because I was there when that decision was made, and I don't remember that.
That's not true.
I don't
Well,
remember that.
I talked to one of the selectmen that was on the board.
Well, that's sketchy too. Well, okay, I want to ask you though, what do you think about the sand and the salt ratio? What do you think about it? Because I value your opinion on that. What do you
It
think?
definitely should be, if you have a hotter mix, you're gonna use a lot less sand and a lot less time putting it out.
What about the 10 to 1 mix, is the question.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to
Is
get.
that too hot? That's what she wants your opinion on.
Yeah.
I think Dexter uses 10 to 1, but they're the only one. Most everybody's up around 12 to 15.
Okay, thank you.
They vary.
the only reason why you see these communities upping and making lot loads is because it reduces the cleanup at the end of the time, melts it off quicker, fewer trips with the plow, resulting in less overtime as well. So if there would be a way to figure out how you could tend those dirt roads
Separately.
at the
yeah.
end of the storm
Yeah.
and go with that, you may be
Yeah, 'cause
looking
they
at
could-
saving on the overtime.
They could
part.
plow them without
as
dropping
well.
any sand. They could.
But what about, if Dexter is indeed, if they're using the 10 to 1, could you call Dexter and ask?
I
Yeah,
can
I'd
And find
talk
out
to Shelley.
what there
I
is.
can honestly tell you, I've been on Dexter's, I've been on the number 10 road in the spring. You'll sink to your axles.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's,
I'm not worried about in the spring, I'm
We
worried
had
about in the
3 really bad roads
Dexter did this last year because of the mix was so hot. And they admitted it was the mix was so hot.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't care about the spring because I don't think the salt, that doesn't matter. It's throughout the winter do you have that issue.
Yeah.
Now I know with a lot of the windmill stuff going on, I heard there's some of those guys, they're putting out calcium up there. So I'm kind of, that's
Well,
what
and see also with these crazy
Yeah.
winters that we're having, you know, it's...
you need more salt.
Well, no, you need more salt on the paved roads, but on the dirt roads, you're gonna get mucky.
Also, if you pre-treat the road prior to a big storm, it will allow it to scrape up a lot quicker and faster and
Unless that's what the
less
state
in
said.
overtime.
So, okay,
It's
so
all
we wanna
about-
table this, right?
Let's table it, find out
Yeah.
more
Now,
about contracts
you
for
guys, you wanna
the,
ask me about vacuuming someday? I'll get with you and we
but as
can
far
talk
as,
to-
I mean, my own opinion, I think that's the
Tabled.
direction they're gonna go, so.
Okay,
I got another question.
Yes, go ahead.
I was just gonna work with your budget committee meeting Monday.
You
We
can talk
ain't
about
gonna
it
have no
again?
figures.
You can talk about it again? It looks like we're gonna go another year with the new plow contracts. So
Right.
use those figures, and then you can't go wrong, because if in the end, if something happens, and, I don't know, they get hit by a meteor or something, and they do go with the town, there'd be less money.
We'll figure on their price and,
Yeah, figure on
and
that
a little
price.
hotter on the salt and sand.
Yeah.
You already got the
well,
salt
we
in
already
there.
have the salt number in there,
It's 20,000.
Chum, so that's why I just figured that out. That would give us 10 loads delivered. 31,
On these
31.
dirt roads, all we need to sand is the hills and the shaft corners. That's
After
all.
the storm, or?
Yeah, after the storm.
Yeah, see, that's why
You know,
we purposely bought a diesel-powered ton truck with a 2.5-yard sander on the back of it, stainless steel, to just go run those roads. Or if it was a lot, we'd take a 6-wheel truck and go sand it. So, just, I know.
George.
the boys can sand it when they scrape it, the last trip, they can sand it.
On the dirt roads, they have a variable speed.
Yeah.
And they put that out extremely slow.
Yeah,
Extremely slow, so they're not getting a full, you know, but would it behoove the board and the town manager, if I was to talk to Christopher tonight and have him come up tomorrow morning to see you and just to figure out what you would be comfortable with, you know, for what you have for salt scheduled now in this budget would be more salt than is ever put in a town sand pile. By far in excess, and it's still not the 10 to 1. I'm not gonna speak for them, but I think they're gonna be tickled to death with that kind of salt. They'll be fine. But I'm not gonna, don't quote me on that, but I will have Chris come up tomorrow morning so we can get this done in the budget committee.
I'll be
will have
here at
some
8.
items.
I'll be here at 8 in the
Okay,
morning.
so would that be okay if I had him come up and,
Yeah, just have Matt come ask for Matt so we can talk.
okay.
Peter, you know who this is? I don't know who's coming, so.
Chris?
They'll be in
Chris?
this.
Alvina will recognize him.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Looks like George
Not a
with a brown
problem.
beard.
but if we can work that out to sand the very last strip with just straight sand and not the salt,
Well, no, I don't, that hasn't been an issue in the past. They're very conservative on the sand, on the salt roads, knowing that.
yeah.
And they live on dirt roads and they don't want to make a mess of the dirt roads. And-
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, that's,
You can lose the whole road in one mud season. Too much salt.
You can't use clear sand and sand it in the wintertime.
No?
Oh, they seal it on your bodies and stuff.
freeze right in.
Freeze.
I've done it for 40 years. I tried clear sand, it don't work.
Maybe we could have a smaller pile with a lighter,
It could be, yeah.
yeah, and
I
go
don't-
back to the 15.
Yeah,
on
you'll have
that.
to talk to Pete.
I'm just, my only concern right now is the clear definition of what he put in for a bid.
Right.
If
So
the,
that there's no
that's
I
right.
don't-
quibbling later on.
I think when they adjust that sander, even with a 10-1 mix on that salt,
You're fine.
and the way they do it, I think are gonna be fine. Because you put down more on the main roads. And there's multiple, what setting do you use on this?
Every sand is different.
They're all different, okay. Well,
Okay, so that's tabled. Let's move
Yep.
on to MRC so we can keep this thing moving so we get out of here tonight.
Hmm.
All right, so would you explain about the MRC contract, please?
the contract that we have with MRC, and I have another part to this, but the first part is I need to validate the April 28th, 2016, or we are going to lose our place at MRC, which means I need to go to the town attorney, which will be around 150, minuscule, but it needs to get certified, so we keep one of the original member spots on this,
Yes.
or we're going to be paying higher tipping fees and not getting any return back. This should have been done last year, so I need to get this done. I just want you to motion this so I can move forward and execute
Okay,
with the attorney, town attorney.
I'll make the motion to have the town manager provide the MRC with the legal certification of the MRC vote on April 28th, 2016. Does anybody second me?
I'll second. I want clarification, I guess.
Okay.
What was the vote on April 28th? That's my question.
The town voted and it was only a show of hands, and it was advertised throughout the town and signed by the board. It was never advertised in a paper, so that vote is what keeps us in the loop, and I have to have that done and executed before the end of March when they go for their funding. There's another part that I have on my desk that I have to research, but originally Sangerville bought into the PERC, so there is $1.5 million worth of interest that is due back the charter municipalities that started with PERC, and I have to file to get that money back for this community. If we're not going to stay with PERC, then I need to file that. This here is just having a piece of paper that says that this is certified with an attorney, so they need to read the vote, see the signatures from the board, sign this, and that's all I need to get that certification back to MRC. It's very simple. We should have done this in May or June last year and sent the
Well, that's what I was
letter.
trying to figure out why we
So
didn't.
did the town vote against?
That's
it?
all. I understand. I worked just I'm wondering
Didn't
if
get
we
done.
screwed up. That was all. I
I have no idea.
think it wasn't.
Okay, so
Doesn't sound like
we
it's
have a
brought
motion,
that.
a second on
I
the
just need
floor.
it.
Okay,
Can we have a vote?
Yep.
fine.
All right.
Who was first?
Me, Dale, 3-0.
Can't keep up with those. I need a secretary.
You sign it.
My goal is always the 1 hour
You want to
meeting.
sign it tonight?
No, you don't. This is all attorney.
Okay.
You've signed all your documents. It has to be certified.
All right, so now we're on to item 7, new business. The town manager will show us what makes a mill rate.
Yeah, I wanted to just jump down to correspondence.
Okay,
And you have the town manager resumes there. And we have Moosehead Enterprises. There's an increase in cable. I'm going to pass that around for you to look at. And Radar Speed Trailer Loan Program. Did you ever get one of those here in town?
yeah, I hate it.
There was one
No.
on 3.
Okay, so no on the speed trailer on the shoulder, and I think the sheriffs take care of the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we need to do that. Okay,
Why
now,
do we have cable?
I don't have cable, but they have cable up in town. They have cable up here.
Department of Agriculture. Department of Agriculture is looking to see if we would like a grant to put in boat ramps, like concrete ones, or anything for water. I don't know who knows the lake stuff around here.
Pete, listen to this, please.
This is Department of Agriculture, and they're looking about putting in,
So
They-
we don't actually have.
there's grants available for us to put in infrastructure projects around great ponds, which would include the concrete boat launch that
What
can
we
go
did last
in,
year.
stuff like that. So do you want to read this and meet with me on it
Do
and
we,
see what we might need
general
for our
assistance, do we pay for cable?
ponds,
I
lakes?
think it's just a general thing that their rates in our town.
Okay. I'll just put CP.
PUC thing.
What'd you think on the Moosehead Enterprises?
Yeah,
Where's that document? You're okay?
yep. Do we need to motion vote any of this?
Nope.
or just- okay.
That's all done then.
Yeah,
Sorry, I don't know whether we have any great ponds or lakes in this town.
So do.
We do?
The two of them are considered
Those
great
are
ponds.
great?
that's
They
what
qualify
They do.
at Center Pond.
It does?
Center Pond considers great too. I don't know about Center.
Grade is a classification.
No, no, I know
down-
that, I know that.
No, but I would assume it would be in the size
Okay,
of body.
free
that's
money
all.
that they're gonna pay
No,
for
I
any
do- I
improvement.
go in there.
Take it.
I just
Well, as
didn't.
long as we qualify.
I
Right.
just didn't figure
You
Center
don't
Pond
have
would
to
qualify
qualify.
for that.
I thought it was,
Yeah.
there was something in here on that. On the low, on great ponds, Great ponds, all land below the natural low water mark of ponds that are 10 or more acres in their size in their natural state is considered a great pond. We have stuff in here for coastal waters we don't have, but boundary rivers, we have stuff here for that. So this is a great
There's a-
opportunity to get a lot of money.
Cemetery.
The cemetery is eroding down there on the river.
That's,
Yeah.
Oh, that would be a good one.
Oh,
Well,
it would be, absolutely. We had that, remember that last year?
Okay. I hope everyone can follow along with me. And I'll try to be quick. I can't see you, but I can see the board now. So, hope that works. So basically what I'm doing is I want everyone to see this right here is what takes, all this paperwork is what we come up to get the mill rate. And there's about 18 pages here of figures. So I'm in the middle here, and I've gotten to the enhanced municipal tax rate calculation form. So the town that I'm dealing with, their value was $84,443,084. Now, with that, their county tax assessment is 205. That's a number that you need. Municipal appropriation. So that's our budget that we're appropriating. And I already figured this number out for, this is not this town, 356. So the budget that is approved for that town right now to go to town meeting is at that number, $1,057,356. Local education appropriation is $990,000 for that community. The total assessments comes to $2,252,356. Then, once we go down to allowable deductions, you would have your municipal revenue sharing, that there isn't much left coming in anymore. That's been taken away. But for this community this year, they'll have revenue sharing $34,321. Other revenues for the community would come in the fact that 519, so other revenues, $519,937. Then they had some dedicated revenues that got carried forward. This is where these numbers would get added in from the dedicated from the audit, which we confirmed those numbers as $16,625 total, which would give us a total of $536,562. When we come down from that, we look at our total deductions. The total deductions for 17 deductions are going to be $570,883, and the town, so net to be raised by the local property tax. So once I take all these figures, I have to go in, I get my deductions down here, I take my deductions and subtract those from my assessments. And what I end up with is their taxable rate that they need to raise is $1,581,473. Now the prior year, that same town had $801,000 in other revenue. Revenues are always going to fluctuate, depending if you have grant revenue coming in, depends on what you have. Excise tax is pretty much for sure, but when you're talking about just regular revenues coming into the office and what gets paid in from the state for reimbursements and stuff, tree growth, this is where these other revenues can take place sometimes. So this town last year had a budget of $1,488,779. But this year, this is what they need to raise. So you're looking at about $100,000 more right here on this level. But all the numbers on this compared to last year's numbers have changed. deductions are much lower, so that means less revenues. The budget's just about the same, but when you get down here, this number's changed. Because the revenues have dropped, some of the expenses have gone up. When you get down there, basically you have to decide at this point how much overlay is going to be utilized for the town. So we used a figure for overlay of $73,000 for this community because of a problem that was done. The end result, last year, the mill rate in this community was 18.5. When you calculate this out for this year, the mill rate, with 100,000 used from surplus, with a $50,000 overlay for 2017, and remind, we're dropping the overlay, their mill rate comes out to 18.7. Now, if I was to take $2.5 million, I did this before the break, and take value, because the town of Sangerville last year, from 2016 to 2017, lost $2.5 million in value.
Because of the homestead exemption?
No, I have it right here on the corner, it's in writing.
It sounds like some,
Your school bill will most likely be less, because you're worth less. The county bill will change a little bit.
That didn't come out right. Just
Less or
Wait a minute.
Worth less. There is a hyphen in there, people. So,
I think we were the only ones. that
with
caught that.
losing
We didn't.
$2.5 million in value for the town, and when I did this, this number came out to 18.4. So once I get through the budget meeting on Monday night, and I have a more solid budget number to work with, I can calculate this. I have to estimate homestead reimbursement is a big factor in this. Betty reimbursement, which you have a lot of industry kind of in this town. Well, you got a machine shop and there is some Betty.
What's Benny?
Business equipment tax exemption.
Oh, okay.
It's a abbreviation.
Yeah.
BETE.
Oh, so the excise, the tax on equipment and,
Yep. And there's a calculation that the assessor does that actually brings this out and gets us the figure that we need. Like for this community, the Betty reimbursement from the state was $56,206, and it was $3 million in Betty value. So, again, after Monday night, I can kind of come up with a close. This is the close for that community from one year to the other. So they have some deciding to do. I did not have their value, so I used their last value to get that. But you can see that that mill rate went up 0.2. The overlay went down 23,000 from 2016 to 2017. Your budget stayed the same. Your revenues come in short. You're always going to have fluctuation. This number right here is what we have to raise. And that comes through this entire calculation that we need to find the county tax, education, we need to have the budget. This is an estimate for education, 5% above last year's, and that's $1 million for a town of 800 people. Okay? Once you
How many
get
students?
all your revenue sharing, everything in line, this is where you can come up with this. So it's going to be this number here and the budget that you work on. If you keep those numbers the same, that's fine. Your revenues can drop. You're always going to have a shift in this because there's 18 pages of calculation. And that took me to calculate that the other day, a little over an hour to go through this and calculate out for the for this tonight. So I'm anxious to do it on what you're working on right now so I can find out. But there are so many different variables in controlling this. Literally, this number here changed almost $100,000, but it only had a shift of 0.2 in the mill rate. Okay? And I'm happy to sit down with people, explain this, and go through this in the future to better understand. Again, these are estimates when we get to it in July, but 10 years, I've been very close. Really depends on surplus use and depends on overlay.
So if we got rid of the 2% discount, we could go for a lower overlay, correct?
Oh yeah,
Because-
$20,000 lower,
$20,000 lower, right.
which would result in everybody's tax bill being
Rather
less.
than just a few, some people's tax bill being lower,
Correct.
everybody's tax.
So when you, responsibly for a town this size is right around 25 to have an overlay. I think the overlay here was closer to 50.
Yes, because of the
Because of-
2%.
And it does cause some confusion and some problems for some people.
Can you talk about what it does to people with the escrow on their?
Yeah, people that have escrow, you can't get the 2%. So once that comes in, the town has said
Yes, you
no.
can.
The town said no. We have.
No, I understand, but I've gone through that personally.
You have?
Yes, what we do is my mortgage company's not allowed to pay the bill.
Oh,
And
Okay.
what happens is when we get a copy of the tax bill, we present that to my mortgage company with the 2%, and then they cut the check back. The bill does not go to my mortgage company because they will send
There
a
you
full
go.
amount. But if
That's the
if you don't
problem.
know how to do that, that's not, you're correct.
Took you a while to figure it out.
Yes,
The
it
board
took a couple years.
had originally motioned not to do that. I checked with Doreen and Alvina today,
Yeah.
and we don't do that. But you have found a great way to side-skirt that 2% by handling it yourself. And I pay my own. I don't get a 2%. I don't know how many communities are left in the state that offers a 2% for early
And
payment.
we have so much in surplus that we don't need to have an incentive to pay early. So I think it's much more fair if we got rid of it. Right, exactly.
Something that everybody needs to think about. Good program, but I don't know how many are left to have that. So
That would be another curious thing to find out, how many area communities do offer that or don't offer.
All right, so.
Might help
anything?
sway it one way or another. I mean,
I can do that.
thank you, sir.
Email.
I don't think,
managers.
I suspect the net isn't really that different. I mean, because everybody's gonna see their rate go down.
Hmm?
I suspect the net won't be that different. For people who actually
20,000.
take the 2%.
$20,000 here, it's gonna have a shift in the mill rate, but not a
Right.
huge amount, but
It's not gonna do 2%.
not a 2% on everybody's
Right.
tax bills.
George?
How much? You're worried about the 2% that you're handing out. How much do they get on the interest on the ones that aren't paying it?
Interest, that's mandated by the state.
Well, I
that
understand
is
that,
current
but-
7%.
I see
But,
what,
but how much more money are you getting from the interest than you are on the 2% early
I think what George is saying is because you offer 2%, you have a better incentive. You have a more cash flow coming in at one time and getting into the bank. You generate, whereas if you take that away, there's no incentive to pay that fast.
It is when you're charging 7% interest after the bill is due. So that is the incentive, and I've also offered in 2 communities where people could actually have 9 monthly payments for their tax bill, because some people live month to month, and that was the program where they could pay from 8 months, April to December. So when the taxes usually would come due and interest would start in September, we had a tax club that people would pay from April till December, 1 monthly payment, and instead of it all coming out at once, some people like it because they get to keep their money in investments and they're not putting it all out at once and losing that. The other thing was that it kept people from going to lien, kept people from getting interest, and we didn't offer a discount. What we did was we offered that club, and it basically let people choose, do I want to pay my taxes regular, or do I want to pay it over 8 months and do it automatic, which we set it up electronically for some. It was a good program. So something to think about. There's other options out there, but I don't know if the 2% is a big pay off. So
Well, thank you. All
unless you've
right.
got $1 million house.
I'm glad you do those calculations, not me.
I don't have $1 million house.
That's not going to happen. All right, run through correspondence, request for additional agenda items, we didn't have any. Board of Assessors, none. So we've got left is executive session, right?
I had a visitor from the Gray Road. You had mentioned, in fact, you mentioned on Monday that you had an estimate of finishing that project, 40 or 50 grand or something
No,
like that.
no, I don't really know, but I mean, we need to have numbers on that.
So the reason, the question he had was, we had, one of my first meetings, we had agreed to take something to warrant, and it had to do with the
Yes.
discontinuation.
Not the discontinuation, the taking of it, because it had been abandoned twice. So this is trying to avoid a court fee, a court case.
Mhm.
So if we take it to town meeting and the town takes it, over and done with. No cost to lawyers or court fees or anything.
If the town takes what, though? Are you talking about the entire
From
road?
Lantini's to the turnaround at the base of Lance Burgess's driveway.
Okay. Because it sounds like we already committed to do that.
No, we haven't committed to do it. No.
I thought we did.
No, because at the time we made the vote, we did not know that it had been discontinued twice. And the board at the time that discontinued was, I think it was done in 12 or 13.
Well, I don't have these minutes, but I do have minutes where the discontinuance was reversed.
It doesn't matter because you can't, in a board meeting, under a discontinuance, an abandonment.
Okay.
It was a moot point, the manager was pushing it. Fine, we'll do it, because it doesn't mean anything, it was a totally moot motion. And an argument had ensued before that was even done outside of the boardroom.
Okay. But then in June, we did agree to do this
But
project.
that was when we didn't know that it had been discontinued. In '95, the landowner in question discontinued it. He abstained when the other two.
Right, I did see those
Right.
minutes.
And then in 12 or 13, the board discontinued from Lantini's telephone pole on. And
So,
So
but
you-
we did work this year between Lantini's and the area in question. We did some ditching and some culverts and
Yes.
we've committed to some sort of arrangement with grapple and labor or something.
what we did was we spent private money for public purpose, which is a big no-no.
Public money.
Public money for private purpose.
I knew what you meant. Yeah.
And that really is things that they send people to jail for. So I do not intend, I was not part of that decision because they hid it from me. And this is the cleanest way I can figure to handle this without going to court. I do not want to see legal bills, and that was my thing when I got on the board the first time, was avoid senseless legal bills. So if you two would like to do something different, you can outvote me. But
What I personally would like to do is, we have enough going on to get the town meeting at the moment.
that, I promised him that we did vote to take it to town meeting.
Yep.
So
I
we'll
would
take it-
really like to have town manager really look into what has been done, what has been said with this entire road, and actually give us an honest, truthful, this is what we need to do.
Are you insinuating I haven't been honest and truthful
I
about
am
this?
not insinuating you haven't. That's
Did I not say back in the day, when we started, when that whole thing popped up, right after town meeting, no one had said anything about work on the Gray Road. And then all of a sudden it was impassable, they couldn't get out, and this was out of the blue. And I said, it is a boondoggle up there, and we will regret this for the rest of the year. And we
Public
have.
money on a private way, though, what are you, I'm not,
Could you explain that to him?
no, but I mean, when did that happen?
When,
You are unallowed to, we should not be doing anything on somebody's private property.
I understand
Right.
that. I'm saying, when did it occur, or when do you fear that it occurred?
it occurred on August 13th.
Because in June, the board approved ditching between those two locations.
Absolutely. And then Alvina said, wait a minute, got in the town books and said, look, it's been discontinued twice. Took that information to the manager, gave it to me, I assume gave it to the other board members as well. I went in, talked to the manager, said, hey, we can't do this. So instead of bringing it back to a board meeting again, Pete was the road commissioner at the time. We had a road commission report all summer long that laid out month by month the road work to be done. And there was no road work scheduled for the Gray Road. And we specifically said we're doing the bottom of the road first, the impassable part, and we'll see about the top as it goes. So the manager was specifically told in his office, before we do that, we need to get EP on the phone and see where we're at. And while I was in Canada, $11,680 worth of ditching was done and culvert work.
That's the ditching that is referenced in these minutes.
No, I don't know what ditching was referenced in the minutes, but I do know that that work was done. And I was in the office every day for 3 days running before I went to Canada.
It says from Lentini's driveway to the crest of the hill. I don't know what that means.
What is your purpose with this? What do you
Well,
want done?
my concern is litigation, just what your concern is. But I'm kind of looking at it this way. If we go to the town and enough people raise their hand and say, oh, I want that thing discontinued back down to Lentini's, now we could get sued from some other people.
Well, there's a previous town manager who should have thought of that before he took himself up on the Gray Road.
You're probably right about that, but he's gone.
That's the problem.
And so it's a moot point at this
So
point.
I'm wondering if we're better off to deal with the area that we've already started repair on and decide
You
where
still
we're going
don't
to
have it-
discontinue.
But you have to go to court to get that overturned.
You don't own it. You don't have the right to be up there. It's private property. It's just like me coming and saying, I'm going to put a road through your property.
I guess that's the thing that I would be more comfortable if we knew for sure that that were the case. Because it
That
seems
is
like it's
the
been
case.
back and forth. Why would we ditch it?
Is it all private property from Lentini past?
It always used to be a road.
Right, but you discontinued the service on it.
Well, that's part of the problem, is that it was done 2 different times, and both times, if you ask one person it was done properly, if you ask another person it was not done properly.
It's everybody around this town has a Cracker Jack JD in their pocket, happy to whip it out.
No, and you read the road. I read the road manual. It's a lot of pitfalls. If you do 1 or 2 things wrong, you're on the hook for the road.
Right, and so they were told don't do anything, and so they went and did it. So, I've
I just would really like to know exactly what we should do.
I guess my only thought is not to present it to the town until we have more clarity.
Well, then we'll have to rescind the motion that we made previously to put it on, which I don't think is a good idea, because we made them.
I'd go to the town and ask that this was done incorrectly. It wasn't our fault.
It was an accident, oops.
Whatever we do.
We can make mistakes. If we can admit we made
I
mistakes.
believe that honesty at the town meeting,
George, you're being awful loud.
honesty at the town meeting on what happened. It's a past manager. It can't be dug up. It can't be fixed now. The money's gone. And at that point, I think it should just be a lesson learned.
And me at the end of this conversation, I have no sway one way or the other way. This
Wasting
road.
too much time.
But I just want it done properly, and I want to make sure we all get through this and it's done, it's over with, and we never have another Gray Road conversation.
Well, and the other thing is, there was also a further point where there was a deal made up there, where not only to the turnaround at the bottom of the Burgess driveway, but down over the crest of the hill, another significant distance to a driveway to a field. So in the end, I think we're talking, what is it?
That wasn't even talked
half
about.
a mile?
Close to it.
Half a mile.
Right.
With no
That
cost
wasn't-
and no
that-
ditching, and that was all part of the deal too. And the board never authorized any deals to be made anywhere.
Wow, that landowner got a great deal.
He did, but he didn't get that yet, so, and he's not going to if I have anything to say about it. But the turnaround at the bottom of the Burgess driveway is not a bad thing, okay?
But my only thing is at the end of this conversation, you don't need to turn around by anybody's driveway. Everybody's driveway in the state of Maine is a legal turnaround.
Yeah.
Unless he wants to gate it to say the school bus can't turn around in his driveway, you don't have to put a turnaround.
Well, and at the time it was presented to us that there was a school bus going up. There's no school bus going up that road.
Right.
So there was a lot of misinformation tossed around.
But that-
and apparently still being put out there.
Well, that's why I just want it.
When did this happen?
Last year.
June.
So,
We probably want to expedite it at this point.
I just want to make sure whatever verbiage we
so they
put
go
on
the
the
new guy
town.
to try to get the new guy involved,
Can I have this?
absolutely.
Yes, you did. You can have that. No, that's, my only concern was, are we
It's-
opening a can of worms on the other end?
Actually, when we were without a manager at the point, or Alvina was doing it at the point that we were getting in the meeting fund.
What are we getting an attorney for?
I don't think we need one.
I would hope not.
No,
No.
that's
It's
the
going
way
to cost you
it is.
more in attorney fees than it
Right.
would anything else.
Anything that ever has to do with anything in the grade road has always cost us buku dinero, and you know.
I know, and it was stated during that meeting that we went in this direction, that I don't want to get legal involved, I really don't want to do that, okay.
But when we said we would take it to the warrant, it was 2 meetings later, Till's trying to get clarification of what we actually said.
But the problem
So
was
it's
that
still.
But see, that's an old game too.
No, I know.
That's
The
an old game.
problem-
Let's go listen to the tape. I'm not listening to any tapes with anybody. No way.
the problem is that an appointed official made the decision to go up there that worked for you, and so basically the buck stops here. So you
That's what
have
I'm
to.
thinking.
Do you put this to bed and let this go? Take it to the town meeting and say, we're sorry this happened. I tell you that that's the best course of action for this whole thing. We had a problem in Brownville on Airport Road, and I researched that, and it turned out that because the town had done something, we owned it.
That's what I'm concerned.
And we owned it further
That's what
than
it looks
everybody
like.
thought.
That's what it looks like in the manual.
Pretty much.
Yep.
The law
Listen.
changed in April, guys. So I don't know if that affects
The what?
the law on discontinuance and
Oh.
abandonment.
But it was done.
And-
It was done way before April.
Right.
We can't nullify the. If you read the law, you have to take it to Superior Court. It's not worth it to take it to Superior Court. It just isn't. I mean, it's a total waste of money.
Correct.
Let the town say, "Oops, we made a mistake. What do you want to do? Give us a vote, yeah, up or down."
I personally have no problem with that, but I'd like to have him.
But
I actually see when
You know what I
when he went. You weren't with us at the time. Where I went to was right across the river, and asked a question over there, and said, "This is the way I think we should handle it." He agreed.
I guess I'm a little confused. What are we asking of the public to pay for this error?
No, to decide whether they want to take the road from Lentini's to the Burgess driveway.
Put it on the thing and let the legislative body do it.
That's
And
a-
let them say yay or nay.
Absolutely.
Period.
Don't call
It's
it.
not up to us, it's
It's
not
a
up to
taking.
you.
It's
It's
a
up to the,
the whole question
to
is whether or
them.
not it was our road to begin with to do it or not. That's
Oh.
the question.
But if it was abandoned twice. If it was abandoned.
What's the
twice,
landowners say about it going
He
on to
wants
town
the-
meeting?
It's a town road.
That is a
They
town?
were out there ditching last summer.
That's why I just want
They
clarification.
put
But-
culverts in there last summer.
But the
It's not a town road, he knows that.
Well, once you start putting culverts and ditching, and it starts to look like your road.
Well, only that is an error and that would be,
That's the, but now you're getting,
but you're gonna eat that cost, period. Now he owns it, there's no way to
Right, he's got-
recover that.
right.
You,
It's not a matter of recouping, recovering. We just need to know
This is just an
what is the
error.
right, the right way to go.
What does the town want to do? We are not in the business of cutting deals with anybody.
No.
And that is not our business. He had no business coming to us asking that in the first place. That's not our game. We simply take things to the town and get an answer, and then we make it happen.
that's what you need to do.
Absolutely. I know that.
I think you
I
have
just-
the answer, we just need to have the
I just
legislative
want
body.
clarification of what question to ask the town. We just
How to
How to
ask
word
it,
it.
how to word it.
Correct.
We're uncertain on how to word an
Do you-
article.
Are we asking that what we need clarification on, is it actually our road and you're asking the town for where to discontinue it? Or are
No.
you going to the town to apologize because we screwed up and shouldn't spend money?
Do you want
I
to take
say-
it from Lentini
I
to
think
the
we-
Burgess driveway?
No, I wouldn't put that out there because we've already said we discontinued that. It's the last one,
I think
that
you need
we are going
research.
to apologize. The mistake was made, $11,000 was spent. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You didn't do it. It was acted upon by one individual, but ultimately the town, that individual is held harmless by the town
Right.
for professional liability.
Right.
So now It's the board's baby, which honesty, apology at the town meeting. And-
If that's what the right thing to do is, I don't
Yeah.
disagree with that, but there again, there is multiple stories, multiple people
Okay.
who show you different things about this road, whether or not it truly was abandoned and then had maintenance done, or it wasn't.
If he truly
That's
feels
the
that,
question.
if he truly feels that, then he can take the town to court, and on his dime, take us to court.
So he
At
doesn't.
which
I know, but I'm not
At
gonna
which
stand there and
point our
apologize if I don't know if I
insurance kicks in,
should, is what I'm
and
saying. Because I don't know if I did anything wrong.
Well, we did.
Honestly.
We worked on a road and we spent
Well, you should-
$11,000
you should check- you should- the
You
minutes
should
from-
check it before you say that.
Yeah,
So,
because it has gone back and forth.
that's the problem.
There's some ambiguity there.
And I don't want any more. That's what I want to take this to town meeting, worded the proper way, so we can never have this conversation.
Trust me, if that was clear, I'd have no problem putting a gate up there. But I don't think it's that clear.
We don't get roads ever.
Okay.
Well,
ever,
my
ever.
point is, I have no problem leaving it, so.
Actually, one more thing on this road, just so happens, I was at work today and one of the residents at work that lives up there hit me up and was in hopes that the snow was going to melt a little more to get the throughway sign melted out because they just had another tractor trailer up there, I guess.
Oh, no.
GPS sends them up there, it's no man's land.
He
Get in there,
he did manage to stop before he ended up in the snowmobile trail, but
Phone wires
he
down.
backed all the way out and ripped the phone lines down, I guess, from what I understand. So
It's happened a couple times.
Okay, so.
I don't know where this place is.
Show you.
You'll see it.
I haven't
use
seen
your
every
GPS,
road.
you'll
That's
find
the
it.
same neck of the woods, that's the
It's
truck.
right there.
Put him in the cab of the plow truck, you'll find him.
It's that dirt road that
We
leads
haven't
back
had any
around.
snow.
Hey, when Chris comes up tomorrow, tell him to come with the plow truck.
Well, that's how those seasons
It's
are.
gorgeous. You can
There
see
you go.
everything.
Really? Can I get up there with a 4x4?
Yeah.
All right, so can we move this on, because now we're 15 minutes over my hour
Okay.
mark, and you know how I like to keep these things going. So, I'd like to motion that we go into executive session under 1 MRSA 4056A. Would I have a second?
Second.
Mike, I'll put your name in there.
All in favor?
What time is it?
7:46.
6A personnel?
And I'm gonna have a health
Yes.
break before we do this, because,
A smoke break?
no, a health break. Health break.
Oh.
So the little select woman's room.
Eric.
I apologize for my.
6A is personnel?
You can't respect the same doing it.
You're going
Yes.
into executive
Yes,
session for,
personnel.
night, everybody.
Good night. Nice to see you. See you Monday night.
I'll be here.
See you, boss. Have a good night.
Yeah,
Is that the wife?
that's my little one.
Yeah, well, you should introduce her.
The butt of hat.
It's Regina.
Hi, Regina. I'm Matthew. Nice
That's
to
the
meet
better half.
you. The better half?
That's the better
Yeah,
half.
I met Chubby, so.
That's the boss of the operation.
There you go, right there. That's why you're
Are we going in
together.
twice?
Happy wife and a
What's that?
happy life.
Are we going in twice?
50
No, that's, he's got the in and the out on that.
Right.
Same as my
I think that's what that
parents.
means.
No, it says motion go in two. Motion to go in two.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, we were married in 1960.
They don't stay
Oh,
married.
maybe it's for, they're all the same number.
Live there.
This will be interesting.
Yeah, she's in her phone. Oh, we're still on. Do we stop now or do we wait? We're in executive session, right?
Yeah, we're officially in.
Are we officially in?
If you don't turn it off, it'll stay on for the whole meeting.
No, it won't.
Yeah, she did make a motion, and we voted.
I'll let her show it. We'll just let her laugh.
Any more water over there?
There's none, actually.
Jeez, it's gotta be my turn.
I didn't buy any this week. I forgot. Are we officially in?
She took a recess.
It's running, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, we are. That can be turned off. That's done. I wasn't talking.